How can we repair the angst of our divided nation? Neither pushing harder to get others to see things our way, nor simply ignoring them is likely to get us out of this mess. Let's look together at the growth possibilities that exist for us and how we can more fully take advantage of them. We'll have additional recommendations of relevant materials on how to manage divisive anger at the end of this brief episode. Hi, this is Marlena Fiol from Becoming Who We Truly Are, a YouTube channel that deepens our understanding of who we are and what's possible for us. If you find value in this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It makes a big difference. We are a country divided in ways that seem impossible to bridge. Republicans versus Democrats, minorities versus majorities, wealthy versus poor, legal citizens versus illegal immigrants, white supremacists versus those who value diversity. Although I certainly have no silver bullet, I have no single answer that's going to immediately repair the mess that we're in this country, I can provide a vulnerable personal example of my own experience with divisive anger, some of the mistakes I made, and ways that anger gradually dissolved. I share my own failings in the hope that each of us, no matter which side of the social political spectrum we're on, might consider what we can do to begin to mend the great rifts that divide us, divisions that are surely damaging to every one of us. Do you have any personal experiences of mending long-term divisive anger that might be useful to the rest of us in healing our own painful divides? My memoir, titled Nothing Bad Between Us, which was released by Mango Publishing in 2020, has been described as a heartwarming and often shocking tale of a religious father and his sinful daughter, who suffered from seemingly irreparable angry and self-righteous divisiveness. I was 4 months old when my parents were called as Mennonite missionaries to establish and run a leprosy compound in Paraguay, South America. Throughout my early life, I grappled with contradictory desires. On the one hand, I wanted to please my autocratic hero doctor father and his Mennonite clan. At the same time, I rebelled against their often abusive control over me. I want to share with you two of my approaches in dealing with this divisiveness that were absolute failures. My first approach was that during my youth, I stubbornly confronted my father and the Mennonite church for mistreating me. The outcome? You guessed it. The more tenaciously I resisted their control and fought against them, the more ferociously I was beaten down. So my second approach, eventually it seemed like avoidance was the only answer. So at 19, I escaped from Paraguay to the US, and for years I dodged any vulnerable exchanges with my Mennonite past, including my father. The outcome? Well, violent and angry exchanges did cease, and for a while this seemed like a good solution because those heated exchanges had been painful for all of us. But avoiding the anger meant that it continued to simmer inside, never really setting me free. And maybe most important, the avoidance separated my father and me even more than the earlier the periods of angry exchange when we were expressing our fury. Fortunately, my story doesn't end there. My father and I found redemption and reconciliation in the most broken parts of ourselves, when we began to see our shared humanity and our common brokenness, healing became possible. The title of my book reflects the phrase my once estranged father and I said to each other in our native Low German at every goodbye during the last few decades of his life. And they were the last words that we spoke to each other before he died in 2003. Da es nicht zwischen uns. There's nothing bad between us. Here's what my forwardist, Phil Kuzno, said about that phrase. Da es nicht zwischen uns, Fiol's father would say to her in his native Low German language. There is nothing bad between us. And then she would repeat the words back to him. This almost painfully beautiful exchange acknowledges that there may have been something wrong between us in the past, but not now. Not in this one bountiful and complicated moment. Not if we can find some good in the bad, some beauty in the terror. You may ask, what does my personal story have to do with our country's deep divides today? Well, I think the social political groups that dislike or even hate each other have tried what I tried to do. They've tried confrontation like I did over and over again, and it's failed to bring about change just as it failed in my own life. And simply ignoring the whole thing will also fail to improve the situation. Here's the thing. Anger and conflict do feel uncomfortable. That's how they're supposed to feel. That's how they get me to pay attention and to learn from them. It's by vulnerably opening myself up to the conflicts and disagreements in my life that I can truly learn about my enemies, including their needs and boundaries, including even their vulnerable core that most assuredly is just as imperfect and as broken as my own. For those of you who are deeply engaged in your own quest toward becoming who you truly are, I just want to say that my path may not necessarily be yours. I've talked today about a way that has led me toward increasing levels of authentic peace, but naturally only you can decide what path makes sense for you. If you found value in this program, please do give it the thumbs up or click the subscribe button on your screen. It really does matter. Also, please post your questions or comments that you might have for me. I am interested and I'll respond each day. For example, what approaches have you found have been useful in healing angry conflict in your own personal relationships? In addition, just so you know, I'll be posting a new episode of this YouTube show each Tuesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. For further information on anger, forgiveness, and reconciliation, we recommend the following resources. First, a TEDx talk by Juna Mustad suggesting that anger is your ally. Also, check out the YouTube video by Eckhart Tolle on dealing with anger, resistance, and pessimism. And for a look at my own personal path to forgiveness and reconciliation after anger nearly destroyed my relationship with my father, we recommend my memoir, released in 2020 by Mango Publishing, Da es nicht zwischen uns. Nothing bad between us. The web addresses for each of these resources are in the show notes. And remember, we are together on this journey.